would like to ask Fenna now to join us. Fenna did the heavy lifting in organizing all of these things. You can help me put up. Good. So we decided that we fused the two parts of my suggestions for a vision into the end part of the declaration. So we're actually coming to the finale with this. But I would like first to give Fenna the opportunity to say a few words.
Yes. So first, I would like to thank you and thank all the organizing committee, all the participants, all the funders. So I'll start with a few words of acknowledgements. First of all, we had an idea. We imagined big that we would get people together in a room, people that had never maybe talked to each other, people from different disciplines, and the perfect opportunity presented itself with a Nexus Convening Award from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg Center. They provided us the space and funding to make this happen. So this is what was the ignition that kickstarted this road trip, this moonshot. We also were lucky to, at the same moment, get a significant philanthropic donation to put Exposome on the map, on the universe, and to think big and make it happen and make Exposome really impact health. And I'm specifically not saying just human health, because I asked you in the beginning to imagine what healthier cities looked like, cures for non-communicable diseases. But I also heard people saying, why on a human exposome? Well, we had to start somewhere. But I like what you imagined, that you imagined bigger, that you imagined that we also include One Health and planetary health and universal health. We have astronauts going to space. That's also important. So I love how you, these days, imagined big of what the Exposome could do and how we could help that move forward. So I also want to acknowledge the in-kind contributions from the Columbia University Center for Innovative Exposomics and all the other partnerships that added their time and added their committee members and all the steering committees. I wanted to highlight specific supporters for those who believed in us. This was a new thing. A lot of people were hesitant, like, what is this about? Should we really put some more money behind this? So I want to acknowledge our supporters. They don't sponsor the mission in the sense that they drive where we need to go, but they're fully supportive because they are part of our mission. And that's why I wanted this special shout out, because they trusted us that this was still going to be significant and that beneficial for them also to be part of. So thank you for all those supporters. I want to thank you for trusting in us. Where is the agenda? We were really planning hard to get different stakeholders together, and that took a lot of effort, a lot of renewing. People couldn't make it. There were struggles, a lot of hurdles, but you trusted us. You stuck with us till the end. You made it happen. You were in those breakout groups. You were brainstorming. You were sharing your ideas. You are showing your commitment forward. I love the energy, and that is what indeed drives us forward. So thank you for all of you. And we had some special volunteers that made this meeting a success. Navsika, Carolina, Jack, Paolo, Dinah, Rakshanda, Carlos, Carolina, Yuki, Lou, Ifan, Jason, Sylvia, Dylan, and Brandon. Thank you all for taking all these notes, because we're doing this grassroots. We're showing the world that you don't need a lot of money to get this started. We need volunteers. We need ambassadors. We need all that energy to make this happen. So they are making happen, that all what your ideas were noted, that we can carry them forward, and we will take the charge on us that we will bring that to completion, and we will have that roadmap. We will engage you after this meeting. We won't let go. So With that, I wanted to hand it over, and I will come to the declaration, which was all the culmination of this, where we put our commitment. But first, a few words from my director.
So you will not have heard too much from our center during this. We wanted to give the stage mainly to the well-established actors in this field and these voices. So I owe you still something, which is why is our Center for Alternatives to Animal Testing trying to set up this activity and this launch. And the reason behind this is our DNA. This is how we do it. We are trying to create collaborations, initiatives which are working together. You see some of them here, some of the ones in progress are listed below, like the evidence-based toxicology collaboration, which engaged with about 1,000 people in the meantime and has several hundred membership. The MPS World Summit series, which we just hand over to a society we formed, but it was started by our team because we see that science has to go out of its silos. It has to go out to between disciplines, but also out towards policymakers, the civil society and others, and that's what our way of working is. The evidence-based toxicology collaboration will actually be, from my view, a very important component of what we are doing. You see here the 4 working groups, which have around 100 members each, and I would just like to highlight one of these working groups. It is on evidence to decision frameworks, because I think this is really an important step forward. It's not only about factually combining data, by systematically reviewing them, by quality assuring them, and bringing forward evidence, but then we need to do something with the evidence. What is this? It's decisions. It is moving towards the decision takers and presenting them with the evidence and advise what could be done on this basis. So I really see this as an integral part in moving forward, and I also see this as a role model. I believe that we, as a grassroots type of activity, have now to bring in together working groups which are continuing this path and are going to develop the various topics. The idea for an Exposome Moonshot was actually born in this workshop. The Department of Defense asked me to chair, and I found 2 co-chairs which are both at this meeting. Anna Navas-Asian from Columbia and Vaishal Shu from Texas A&M. We 3 did convene 30 people, 30 experts. Some of them are in the room. Nicole was among them. Gary Miller was among them. And overall, the report which we produced was a call for a Human Exposome Project. It said, ultimately, that's what we need. And this was the starting point for us. First of all, to refocus our own work in embracing these recommendations of being more exposure-driven in toxicology, more technology-enabled, and use the evidence integration tools of the evidence-based toxicology framework. This is my personal takeaway from this workshop. So in some way, I see this in the big discussion, which has been my quest over the last 35 years to replace animal testing and toxicology mainly. We want to move toxicology from the art of poisoning rats to the exposure side of disease. So my vision is that by changing the discussion, by talking about exposure as a principal part of disease, we don't need to talk about the animals anymore. They're no longer relevant. We don't need to show one by one that we can replace an animal test if we change the way we are talking about disease. And this is what the human genome has achieved. Genetics is now a principal pillar of our understanding of disease, how we diagnose, how we treat. And this is something I would envision for the exposome too. And by doing so, modernizing what we are doing, bringing in the new tools, the new technologies. We were very, very lucky that our anonymous donor gave us, for this vision, to come up with a Human Exposome Project in 7 years. Yeah, this was the goal, $17 million. Yeah? So this is why we are able to provide as a service to scientific community this Moonshot initiative, why we are able to put some people on it, that we can actually convene these type of meetings, and we are offering to continue doing so. This is a picture I showed at the very beginning to get us started in a funny way about this. I put it up again because I also wanted to stress again, AI is a fantastic enabler for exactly this. AI is at the moment the tipping point from my point of view why we can make sense of all of this data. Because I always say AI is making big sense from big data with big computers. That's what it's all about. But I also put it up to show you that AI is not perfect. And we have an enabling technology to show you these are the mistakes AI did. And I had to help out human in the loop. What you can see here, a type of alien on something which looks very much like me. I don't know what I'm smuggling into the spaceship. And there's a second one here on the very right. Yeah? And actually several of the members of this organizing committee are morphed into one, and different features shared. And I really had to pull in some pictures the AI simply did not want to include in this team. Okay, how does the organizing team look out now? Probably like this, at least this is ChatGPT's imagination. But it's not true. What's going to happen now is we need to move the organizing committee in the mission operations control room. Yeah? This is the first big step. We will extend an invitation now to the organizing committee members to the extent they are available to serve in our thing as a steering committee going forward. And we will have to recruit more people. This will be one of the first steps. So you see some new faces here as well. It is about identifying what is lacking. We have at the moment only a transatlantic group. If we want to claim we are global, we will need to include Asia Pacific, we will need to include the global south, we will need probably knowledge on certain technologies, and we are very science heavy, while we need actually also people with outreach to policymakers and with experience in dissemination. But it will not be a democratic exercise from the beginning. It will be an exercise where this steering group will decide on whom to take up and whom not. But the goal will be to become ultimately a membership-driven organization which is justifying itself towards the people who want to be with us. We have had a fantastic experience now, a crowdsourcing, which I would say was this meeting, because we heard from some 300 people now what is needed. And this crowdsourcing is the starting point for us now to transform this into working groups. We inspired. This is a picture which I owe to Dan Kruski. You will know him. He was the chair of the Tox21 panel, one of the most visionary documents changing toxicology over the last decades, coming from the National Academy of Sciences then. I don't want to go into any level of detail, but I really love it because it is showing that we inspire to think about how things are going forward. And I assume that we will get several similar contributions and complementing contributions from others. This is to move us forward. We got strong positive feedback. So Peter Gluckmann, you heard on the first day, he is representing 250 science organization. It is the biggest umbrella organization in science which there is, and a very clear statement on how important this is for every person on this planet. We got endorsed by the OECD while we were talking here. They are saying something like the Human Exposome Project is certainly one for them to watch because it's in their DNA, these type of activities. And you see on the website the very many other endorsements. So this is a very important part because this is confronting the civil society, the science policy area with what we are doing here, mainly being populated by scientists. We heard from Nicole again today the strong commitment by the NIH, and I'm thrilled to see that this will be moving forward, because that's the biggest science funder in the world. Yeah? So this is something which is really key to inspire, to give our input, and hopefully they will take up some of these ideas, and you hear it's already fitting into structures they are creating. So we will have some first decisions to take now by the organizing group, or then the steering group. Whom do we want to invite to mission control? This will be important. Please volunteer. Yeah? Express yourself. The worst thing is you can get a no because we have too many people on. But if you are feeling that you are a complement to the group as there is, don't hesitate. We will have working groups to establish. We need a working group, from my point of view, to establish a governance structure. How do we take decisions? What are we going to do? We are going to have to map what are the projects which are relevant to us globally. What are the technologies and how they are advancing? We have to map funding opportunities. We have to decide on future meetings, and I'm thrilled that we have offers from the Science Forum South Africa already to make a presence in November. We have offers from for the Barcelona meeting, but also Canada and South Africa have offered to hold the next meeting, and we will need to decide on this as a group when we come and when we debrief on what the consequences of this meeting here is. And we will have to start communication, dissemination, education, some of the many things to get visible and to attract more talent. And I'm thrilled that people like Dennis Sarijanis, the president of the Hellenistic National Research Foundation, has offered already to chair a working group. And these are the type of volunteers we now need. Knowledge of the fact, but moving us forward. And I see many in the room which qualify, and I would like to see this move forward. We have an important thing to do, and this is the moment to hand back to Fenna. We come to some signing. I don't know why she's, according to AI, not very happy with the declaration, but I did not get AI to change it anymore. And with this, Fenna, it's your turn again.
Thank you, Thomas. Okay, so we're here not just for a science conference or a symposia. We're here really because we all believe in a bigger mission, and with that comes some commitment, and hopefully that we can all sign this declaration. It was a real lifetime document. We convened yesterday to put in as many comments and overlapping changes that were made. So this is a document that you all participated in, and that's what is also what this whole Exposome Moonshot is about. It's about together, doing things together. Imagine what we can do together. So this declaration that I'll be reading soon, and I invite in the meantime to the organizing committee to come on stage, because this declaration is something that we all worked towards. So with that, I would like to invite Gary Miller up from Columbia University, Sophie Risotito from Columbia University. Please come up, because we will have the declaration that we will be signing soon. Jana Klanova, Gita Sentil, Nicole Kleinstreuer, Dan Tago couldn't make it, David Balsha, Roel Vermeulen, Dennis Arijanis, Michelle Bennett, Rima Habra, Chirag Patel, Shrikant Nadadur, unfortunately couldn't make it, Camilla Sarijanis, Abigail Milliken. I would also like to say a big thank you to the organizing staff that has requested to stay behind the scenes, but that doesn't mean that we can thank them. These are all the people that made this happen, that we met weekly, extensively, and all these efforts that they put in brought you together. You participated, you made it happen in the end. Because you showed up. We are near now at this point that I could read the Washington Declaration, DC. Declaration on the Human Exposome, establishment of a global consortium, we, the undersigned participants of the Exposome Moonshot Forum, held in Washington, D.C. in May 2025, representing diverse stakeholders from academia, government, industry, healthcare, media, civil society, are recognizing that a wide range of burdensome diseases are linked to environmental exposures, including physical, chemical, biological, dietary, lifestyle, social, and other factors, and can be influenced by the gene-environment interactions. I'm emphasizing all those contributions that you brought in. Understanding that integrating the human exposome, defined as the integrated compilation of all physical, chemical, biological, psychosocial influences that impact biology throughout one's life course, into health research represents a critical frontier in health. Such requires a research program aiming to enable a comprehensive and discovery-driven approach to the study of these environmental determinants of human health. Proclaiming that an initiative focused on environmental and lifestyle factors complementary to the Human Genome Project, completed nearly a quarter century ago, will revolutionize our understanding of human health and disease through an understanding of our genome and exposome. Appreciating that a convergence of advanced emerging technologies which now makes this discovery-driven initiative feasible. And acknowledging the challenges and the necessity of addressing the ethical, legal, and social aspects associated with the systematic analysis of the human exposome. We all hereby declare our intent to establish a coordinated global human exposome initiative with the following objectives: to set the foundation of a human exposome initiative, to systematically characterize the exposures that impact human health across the life course, to develop methodologies and technologies that enable comprehensive, accessible, ethically sound exposure assessment, and to elucidate the mechanisms by which environmental and lifestyle factors interact with genetic predispositions to shape health trajectories, to translate exposome research into actionable strategies for health promotion, disease prevention, early intervention, personalized treatments, resilience, survivorship, and to strengthen human health, well-being, and longevity by understanding population and individual level differences in environmental health risks, and ensuring that those solutions are relevant, applicable, beneficial, and accessible to all. We intend to advance the Global Human Exposome Initiative through transdisciplinary collaboration across scientific disciplines, sectors, and national boundaries. Development and implementation of best practices, standardized protocols and study designs, ontologies, and reporting standards to enhance reproducibility. Establishment of a fair, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable data infrastructure with appropriate safeguards for privacy and security. Ethical, legal, social frameworks that ensure responsible research practices, accountability, and distribution of benefits across all populations. Public engagement and education to enhance awareness and understanding of the exposome and its implications for health, the biomedical sciences, and the economy. Sustainable and coordinated governance structures to support enduring long-term research, implementation, and innovation regardless of project funding cycles. Investment in interdisciplinary education curriculums and workforce development to equip the next global generation of professionals focused on exposomics. Support for innovation that translates exposome findings into an environmental monitoring and disease surveillance systems diagnostic tools, health technologies, and public health interventions. We will engage with research institutions, industrial and commercial firms, healthcare systems, and civil society organizations to join this effort by committing resources, expertise, support, and leadership to this transformative public health initiative. We intend to establish a governance structure for the Global Human Exposome Initiative that ensures the requisite scientific expertise and inclusive participation throughout the world, and that provides mechanisms for collaboration, coordination, accountability, integration, and impact assessment. We all agree that the Global Human Exposome Initiative will lead to transformative advances in understanding environmental health risks and will provide improved tools for disease prevention, diagnostics, treatment, improvement of well-being, health, and survivorship, ultimately improving health and well-being for both current and future generations. With this, today, we hereby launch the Global Human Exposome Initiative with a bold and ambitious agenda for the next quarter of the 21st century, complementing our understanding of the genome with equally comprehensive knowledge of the exposome. This endeavor is visionary and collaborative in scope, global in scale, and committed to delivering enduring impact in science, policy, society, and human well-being. Adopted today in Washington, D.C. on the 15th of May, 2025, I invite you to sign.
Yeah, I think this needs an applause, and I think it's most appropriate that Fenna is starting the signature process. And then, come on, we have pens and we will only have the organizing committee here on stage signing, but you can, through this link, anytime join this. Okay, while this will take some time, I will start giving you my final words and remarks. I hope this is working out. I think this is one of the important messages. We know that genes load the gun and exposure pulls the trigger for disease, but mapping the exposome let us put the safety on, and this is what we really want. We want to move this balance to something where we can intervene. I believe that cleaning up exposures is cheaper than patching up bodies, and the balance sheet will finally show it. So I think this is an initiative which ultimately pays itself and probably will be of enormous profit for our society. To stay with the moonshot picture, today we took one small step for exposome science, but one giant leap for prevention. I believe that this is really a very important milestone for public health. By launching this moonshot, we've committed not just to understanding how the environment shapes our health, but to rewriting the trajectory of public health itself. The exposome is our next frontier, and we now have the courage, collaboration, and clarity to explore it. Today, we refocus from treating symptoms and started charting courses. We've launched a mission not just to map what makes us sick, but to project what keeps us well. The Exposome Moonshot begins now, not with rockets, but with resolve. And history will remember this as the day we chose prevention over reaction, data over doubt, and human health over inertia. Let's not look back from the future and say we could have done more. Let's look forward from today and say we did. Thank you very much.